Hello, welcome to the final day of the How to Live and Love Your Brand launch, and also to the final live of this series. So I've actually loved these Instagram lives so much that I am going to be doing them regularly. I'm going to make them kind of a weekly or fortnightly, up to, haven't decided yet what they're going to be, but yeah, they've been really great. I've loved the conversations, loved seeing the interaction from you guys, and it's something I really want to keep going. So probably Tuesday. I think it's a good day, but we might mix up the times so that sometimes they're in the evening, sometimes they're at lunch, so that people can join at different times. So, but for now, I'm going to introduce our guest for today, or welcome her on. See if she will join, if she's allowed. I can request our gorgeous self from Collectively Assist. She's going to jump on now with me. Hey, that was quick. Well done.
It was quick.
And today the live worked straight away too. I was, I think it's one of those silly turn on off things. I just flicked the video on off, video, it's like faced it anyway, and it worked. It's like let's push the buttons and it will work. Oh, hi, Studio Quarantine. Is that Jason or Lynette who's there? Love it. Oh, look, we've got people jumping on. Hello. So we are talking today about something that comes up a lot for business owners, but also for people, and I think it comes up a lot for women, is the imposter syndrome. And yes. And I just think no one's immune to it. And we just actually, a friend tagged me, a wonderful Alison Horworth tagged me in a post today, and it was about this woman was saying that she used to try and say kick imposter syndrome to the curb, or it's like you can't beat confidence, or you can't beat this thing. There are always going to be times where there's self-doubt or sort of wondering. And so then in this article is talking about the strategies to cope. But I guess let's just say, what does imposter syndrome mean for you, and how is it sort of presented for you?
I think for me, imposter syndrome has really been around not having that self-belief or that self-worth in what I offer and what I bring to the table, so to speak. Mind you, I'm the only person sitting at this table because I run my own business. So that's been something that I've kind of had to come to terms with. But yeah, it definitely comes in the form of that self-doubt and questioning if what I'm doing is right, or if it's, if I'm even doing things in the right direction. So it's always been, I think for me, long-term has always been that self-belief and self-doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, in my case, it's that I'm confident. I have an ego the size of an elephant. If you believe in star signs, which I do, I'm a Leo. So the spotlight literally is not a problem for me. But I think, there's been times where I've said something like, oh, I'm nervous. And you're like, you're nervous? And I'm like, of course I'm nervous. Yeah, of course I'll get nervous. In doing this launch, I put up a video this morning, which was like, funny, funny. And you've been with me. Leah happens to be my virtual assistant as well. Leah's, it's huge when you're putting yourself out there, when you're doing something big. And it's so easy. And the thing that you can go into, and what I see women doing and what I've done myself, is you go, oh, but somebody over there is already doing that. Yeah. Like somebody's offering personal branding, so why would somebody want my personal branding? Or, oh, their website's already up, so why would I do it? And, funnily enough, actually, in Business Chicks, amazing Facebook group, I got tagged in a post. And this is where it comes up, right? Like this post going, hi, I need to work on my brand, I need to put myself out there, blah, blah, blah. Who can help me, or does anyone know anyone? Well, a couple of lovely women tagged me in that and were like, oh, yes, Emma Lovell,
she's all
personal branding. Yeah, she's amazing. What did I do? Instead of going, oh, how lovely, thank you, and focus on the person, which was like, maybe, or I did for a second, like, oh, that's nice to have a shout out, and oh, I see what she's asking. Oh, yeah, I could help her. Then I went and looked at all the other comments, which were from other people who work in brand or who work in a space, and then started looking at their stuff. So I was like, you know, and it's like, why can't you just allow yourself to hold that space and to be
in that moment and just be okay with being the person to represent that particular solution to the problem?
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, of course there's other people doing, you know, and, you know, when you look at, like, you go to the shops, there's so, you know, and I use the example of jam. Like, has anyone ever been, this is why I love Aldi, because there's usually like, there's like 4 types. There's like apricot, blueberry, raspberry, strawberry. That's it. You get 4 types, and they're from the one brand. But if you go to like Woolies or Coles, there's like 50 jams, 50 brands of jam. And then there's like all the flavors of jam. And so you have all this choice. And so everybody gets to have whatever jam they want. Well, I'm just somebody else's jam. And you're
and I like that. I've never really thought of that. Like, you're really just another selection of a condiment, so to speak, that someone can choose from. And there is so many different options out there.
Well, look at on this call right now, we've got Amy Jane, who's a VA. Yeah. Amy Jane's got clients. You've got clients. It's not like, oh, she's got all the clients in the world and I can't have any of them. You know, or same with you. Oh, I've got all the clients. Nobody else needs a VA. Oh, I better not hang up my hat. And Beck Haddad is here. Amazing Beck Haddad, who's a content creator. And, you know, I've had a background in content creation too. I could be like, oh, she's writing stuff for people. We can't talk. Like, she's going to steal all my people. Instead, we're accountability buddies for reels and do awesome, funny reels. Well, I think they're awesome and funny. We do reels together, you know, and so it's that, you know, that's what I guess a strategy could be, is like collaboration over competition. Yeah. Like, how can we work together, or how can we like build this industry up? And in terms of personal branding, you know, sometimes people send me my competitors or other people doing it. And they're like, look at her. And I'm like, yeah, look at her. Awesome. Like, she made a really great point. Exactly. That's a really great thing.
She's doing her thing, and that's her thing.
Yeah. And also, awesome, she's raising awareness for personal brand and the importance of it. And I totally agree with her. And I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and try and say it the same. Yeah. It's like, why don't I share what she says and either add to it or just go, yep, totally agree. Awesome. You're doing wonderful things for the space. And I mean, I know you're in a group for virtual assistants, aren't you?
Yes, I am. And I think it was important for me to kind of connect with a community of other virtual assistants. And this has helped with the imposter syndrome, but it's really made me realize that regardless of how many virtual assistants I feel like I'm surrounded with or that are saturating the market, we all have different ways of working. It's not even about having a different niche of who we work with and what services we offer, but I could be working, and I work with a lot of women in the coaching industry to set up a particular system, Dubsado, and there's other virtual assistants that out there that do the exact same thing, but we work in different ways, you know, so the way I work is unique to me and the way that they work is unique to them. So being able to kind of be a part of that kind of virtual assistant community has made me realize that yes, we can all be working in the same genre of fields, but we all work differently. So we don't have to be competing, and we don't have to be thinking, you know, oh, so-and-so is better than me, or she's got more offers than I have, or she's got more followers. And it's like, well, we just do things unique to us.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, and for both of us, we know it's all well and good to say all of this, but there are feelings. And when you feel something, whether it's true or not, it's how you feel. And if you feel not good enough, and you feel that everybody else is better than you, and you feel that you have, you know, and probably the issue that I see is people like, well, I don't really, or who wants to hear from me anyway? Like, why should I, like, you know, everyone else is saying it anyway, or they're out there.
How am I going to say it differently? Or what can I offer that's going to be different to somebody else? Yeah.
My audience doesn't really need to hear from me, or who wants to, you know, and that's just, and that can go into that spiral of, you know, and then it's just like, well, just don't put yourself out there at all. And, or that, you know, I guess they'll figure out, or, you know, sort of get defensive. Well, if they don't want to work with, if they want to work with her, then they can go and work with, it's like, nobody said anything, brain. Shut up. Exactly.
Get back in your little hole and calm down.
Just having an argument with yourself. And I love there's another like quote, which is like, it even comes up in one of my things. It's like, only compete with the person you were yesterday.
Yeah.
So your only competition is the person you were yesterday. So it's like you're only bettering yourself, and you're wanting to better yourself and improve upon what you can do. And it's that like, Fiona Redding, who runs the Happiness Hunter, she did a podcast on this the other week, and it's that like staying in your lane.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're swimming.
Oh yeah.
When you're swimming, and this is about specializing as well and what work you're doing, but it's also about your beliefs. And it's like, if you're swimming and you're in a race against someone else, if you start looking over at them, you lose momentum and you lose sight of where you're going. It slows you down, and you might actually lose the race just because you were looking at what the others are doing. Whereas if you look straight ahead at the wall, where you're going, literally stay inside your lane ropes, you actually have a better chance of winning the race. And it's not about winning the race. It's just like, it's just your race. Like, it's just,
exactly.
You have
like
a goal.
Said, being better than the person you were yesterday, you know, so how can you improve even just 1% on what you did yesterday to be better?
Oh, I love the 1%. That came, I was reading James. Oh, were you listening to Atomic Habits?
Yes.
I just read Atomic Habits, and it's that 1%. Like, you just improve 1%. And I've said this word so many times, and you keep saying it back to me too. But we've been doing done is better than perfect, but also progress over perfection. So
always,
you know, and that's I know Marie Forleo talks about that a lot too. And it's just making progress. You are moving forward. You are taking steps in the right direction. There will be days where it feels like 1 step forward, 3 steps back. You stumble, you fall, but generally when you actually look at the situation, you're still further ahead than you were. And it's like this whole like not setting our goals based on someone else. Like this whole like 6-figure, 7-figure, my blah blah bit like flies around all the time. Well, do you want, like, is that what you actually really want? It's like, cool, I want to make some figures. Why? You know, because she did it.
So much more intentional with your goals, as opposed to said like just following, oh well, that's what that person did and they're in the same industry, so I feel like I have to do the same thing. And it's like, well, no, you don't. And if you continue, like you said, comparing yourself to other people, that imposter syndrome is just going to get worse and worse and worse, and you don't ever really feel like you're moving forward or getting yourself through it, because you're still comparing yourself to other people.
And it's something that I ask my clients, and it's like, it's that whole, I actually talked to Emma Isaacs about it this morning. She's going to be on the podcast soon. And we were talking about that, you know, doing things just because everyone else is doing them, you know. And I said before that, you know, Beck and I are doing reels, and we've decided to do reels, but it's not like, it's like, oh, everyone else is doing reels, so I better do reels. Everyone else has these 10-page websites, I better have a 10-page website. Everyone else is doing these things. And when I talk to my clients, you know, we talk about capacity. Realistically, how many clients can you take on board at any time? And for a lot of my clients, it's for, you know, especially in a service-based business, it's potentially, it depends, unless you're scaling, we're talking about like 4 or 5 people you're working with at a time. 4 or 5 businesses that you're working with at a time. So why are you trying to reach 20,000 followers? Like,
exactly.
Why are you not having a conversation with 5 people that could convert more highly? I mean, I'm not having hundreds of phone calls with people, but when I am having a phone call with them, we're working together. So, you know, so awesome, you're getting 50,000 leads. Are you how many are you converting? Like,
where's it going? Are they actually really value?
It's like, oh, people, you know, I've got all this traffic, and then cool, but what are you doing with it? Like, ultimately, when we're running a business, we're trying to serve people. Are you serving the people? Are you working with the people that you want to work with? Like, they're the questions, and they're the questions for yourself. Not what, you know, old mate over here is doing, or old mate over there is doing. Awesome. They have 50 clients a month. Cool. Do they also have a team of 30 people? Maybe. Do they work 80 hours a week? Maybe. Do they have
Probably.
really awesome systems and a great business structure and they're only doing 10 hours a week and going on holiday? Maybe. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not your life. You're
No,
not doing it and it
no.
doesn't impact your clients. So it's like that. Yeah. What do you want? And we work together. Well, we work together in two ways. You
Yeah.
came into the course
Yes.
and, you know, I know that with everybody that confidence thing was coming up and that feeling of, I don't know, you tell me what was coming. Why did you feel that you wanted to do the course?
I think for me it came from, and this is where I have been able to tackle my imposter syndrome a lot more, is that I was really unsure of who I was as a person. So you can't be confident, or you can't be sure about what you want to do or how you want to present yourself to the world if you don't actually know who that is. Like it's really hard. Like it's an identity crisis. And I'd always worked for employers. I'd always had roles that defined who I was and the person I needed to be, and how I needed to live my life or structure my work. And so when the choice came to start my own business, I actually didn't even think about how I would have to represent myself. I was just like, okay, now I'm a business owner. And it's like, well, I don't have an employer's culture or business brand or brand history behind me to kind of be that person. So I had to then start looking at who I was and my values. And it was really scary and I didn't really know where to start. And I think that was the biggest push for me wanting to do the program, is that it was a nice way of being able to bring all that together. It wasn't overwhelming. I didn't get to, the end of a course or the end of the week and be like, oh my God, too hard basket. But it was actually just asking a lot of questions that nobody had asked me, or I'd even asked myself. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is going, okay, yes, I was an employee at some point, but underneath that, I was actually a person, and I hadn't had to think about that for 15 plus years. So now it's my time to be a bit selfish and to kind of figure out who I was and how I can bring that into the world, and people can see me and see myself through my business. That's probably the biggest thing that I've gained out of doing the program, is I now actually know who I am. And just me as a person, not a business owner, not a mum, not a daughter, just me, Leah, as a person. It's taken a long time to figure it out, and I'm glad I've been able to do that now.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you are a small business owner, you are the business and you are the one who's going out and you are the one who's connecting. And so, having this faceless, labelless brand that looks all snazzy,
yes,
people aren't going to be able to connect with that,
No.
when, ultimately they're going to be working with you. And so the more that you can be you, and it is difficult in the start. I think it is hard, and it's why people don't do this work. And people think of brand, it's very much the visual thing, like how do I look? What are my colors? And, all those things, like first impressions do come off the way we look, but how we present. But the people who have that really strong brand, or the really clear brand, or I guess are clear in who they are, have done that work. They've really done the work on the messaging. And businesses who have really strong brands, they've done the work on the messaging. They've done those deep questions, and they've looked at themselves in the mirror, and they've asked the whys, and why am I doing this? How am I going to do this? Who's this for? Why do I even want to run a business? Who am I serving? All those big questions. And people who don't want to do that, so that is hard work.
It is.
Then, that's when the pretending and the I'll do what everybody else is doing, and I'll look like them. But actually, that's, I'm sure too, that's actually really exhausting too. Pretending to be someone else.
It's hard work when you have to try and figure it out on your own, or when you don't know where to start. And that was where I'd kind of floundered for, the first nearly 12 months in my business, is that I knew I had to do it, but it was like too hard basket, or Google, what is a personal brand? Like, you know, and there's so many things out there, and like you can Google everything in the world, but unless I've got the guidance to kind of step me through it, it was just like another worksheet, or, you know, another, here, fill out this questionnaire, but you're not really sure what the answers mean. So it was just like I needed that guidance of not only how to like have all the pieces there of what my personal brand was all about, but then being able to actually put it together and have an overarching, like, okay, well, if someone wants to ask me who is Leah, this is how I could say it. And being able to reach to that whenever I'm going to for an interview, or whether I'm putting in a bio somewhere or going on a podcast, like I now have the tools in place that I need to be able to go, well, this is me, this is my brand, this is what I stand for. And it's real to me. It's not something that, you know, you put together for me and was like, okay, now go and run with this. But, you know, you made me do the hard work, and you made me, you know, break it down, and piece by piece we managed to get through it.
And I don't sugarcoat that, do I? I tell you, like, if you think you're going to come here and you're just going to get given this, like, pretty package in a bow of your brand and have it all, you know, and also it's like, don't go and do all the work. I even spoke to someone this morning, and she was like, yeah, I did this course and it was really great, and I watched along and all that stuff, but it's still sitting there. It's still sitting in the portal waiting for me to do something with it, because she didn't do the work as she went. She didn't apply it as she went. And that's something that I really wanted to be in the course and in the program, is that you will walk away with these tools. You will walk away with these words. You will have things that you have written down, like, I'm like, I literally, how many times did I say, pick up the pen, open up this script, typey now, like, do the work. Because if it's all theory and it's all like, oh, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, it all stays up here and it's all lofty. And then as soon as you start seeing what other people are doing, oh, but maybe she said it really well, or maybe she did it, and take inspiration. Be inspired by other people. Go, wow, what a great job they're doing. That's so wonderful. Oh, look at her doing that. Like, she wrote that really well. I mean, I'd love to be able to write something like that, or maybe that's something that I can do. But you don't have to be that. You have to be, you know, you do it in your way. And what I see that you've gained is that confidence that you know it's in you, and that it is you, and that, I mean, not only is it okay, it's wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just nice to know that the person that I am isn't going to be for everyone. And I think that's something that I had to come to terms with as well, is that for so long I'd portrayed a particular character so that I could try to capture and, you know, encourage as many people as possible to work with me. Whereas now I know that I don't want to work with everybody, and not everybody wants to work with me. And I'm okay with that, because my personality and the way I portray myself and my personal brand isn't going to click with some people, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I also know the people that it is going to connect with, I'm going to have a better working relationship and a personal relationship, because they understand my brand, because I'm true in how I put it out there and how I portray it. And it's not fake. And like you said, I'm not exhausted when I'm putting things out on socials or I'm talking to people, because I'm not having to pretend to be somebody else. This is me. I am Leah. This is what I do. This is how I am. And, you know, and I just kind of go from there.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
And there are people here watching, I know, because of who you are, and that's beautiful. I pulled this card the other day, and it was very relevant, because it was definitely where I was at. And I laughed when I got it, because it was like, haha, universe, all right, I get it. And it's that I am fearless. And these are the self-worth movement cards from the gorgeous Farah Mack, who I love.
They're
and
amazing.
You've got some too. Yay! And so it says, you know, fearless. It's about, you know, rising above doubts, fears, anxiety, and insecurities. I mean, with that, you know, sometimes you got to feel it. Yeah, feel the things. Don't just be like, oh no, I'm great, I'm fine, I'm confident, I'm you know, I'm putting things out there. Like, sometimes it's like, no, this, like, stop and acknowledge this is hard. I am digging deep. I am looking inside myself. I am putting myself out there, and I'm someone who tells everybody, you know, put themselves out there. But I have this last 8 days put myself out there, and it is.
And you have. And you have. And I can vouch for the fact that you are very open and honest about who you are and what you have to offer. But, you know, I know that even just having to do it consistently every day and not let imposter syndrome try to beat you down, you've still managed to show up and be real about who you are, what you have to offer, and knowing that what you have to offer can impact people. It's not just showing up because you feel like you have to. You're showing up because you know that it can make a difference to the women that join your program, and you know that it makes that difference and it can impact them and in so many different ways in their future once they finish the program. And I think that's what's been so inspiring about it, is that it's not just ticking another box. Oh, yep, we've done day 5 or we've done day 6. It's like, no, I want to be out there. I want to be talking about what I do because I know that it'll help, and I know that it'll bring so much more closure to women who don't know much about themselves. And I think that's what's really amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, this says, you know, it's that choose faith over fear and see fear for what it really is, which is false evidence appearing real. Yeah. And that's, you know, it's, you know, no, it's not true that people don't want to hear from me. It's not true that everyone else is doing it, so I don't need to do it. It's not true that I'm not good enough. It's not true that, you know, I don't know, just like, you know, that, you know, that it, like there isn't an audience for me.
Yeah.
Like, those things aren't true, but doesn't mean those thoughts don't come up, and it's okay to feel them. And then I love that whole, you know, don't do something, you don't put yourself in danger, but you can have a bit of fear, you know, and realize that it's just the false evidence, but you can do it anyway. So you can feel like, you know, and I talked to Julie just yesterday about this, you know, it's like the first time she put up a LinkedIn post, like she really was like, okay, Emma, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm here with you. We're doing it. We're putting up a LinkedIn post. Like, for some people, like, oh, that's ridiculous. Just put it up there. It's like, you know, her putting herself out there in that way, putting herself forward as the knowledgeable expert and professional that she is, was really daunting. And having come from corporate or when you've worked under a brand, that can be super daunting. And I totally get that and I hear that. However, if you do not push past that and you do not share who you are and you do not let the world know that you have this service and this offering for them and that you're there, hello, I'm here, then you're the best kept secret, and you're just not going to get to where you want to go to. And showing up as you are, truthfully as you are, you're going to attract the people who like you, who trust you, who love you, who want to know you. And those connections and that the work and the people in your world is just going to be so much better because it's true. It's true.
It is. It is. And I think it's really important, like the card said, is to feel that fear. Like, I think sometimes we go, oh no, like it's too, like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with it. So those feelings and those emotions when it comes to imposter syndrome just get worse and worse and worse because you don't stop and in that moment talk to yourself and go, no, it's not true. No, this isn't really how it is. And you just push it aside. Whereas if you stop and you just feel the emotion and you be present with, okay, yep, it's not feeling great, but I know that this isn't true. I know this is just fear appearing as something real. Then once you move past it, it's a lot easier to then when it comes up again, you're like, we've had this conversation. That's just full of crap. I'm not going to listen to you.
Gives me imposter syndrome. You can like take a back seat because I got stuff to do.
Bye.
I got lives to show up on. I got people to talk to. I got amazing things. And I love the feeling of like once, you know, and I'll go back to Julie again, is like once you put that up there. And I mean, you had this experience last week where you shared something and you showed up as yourself and people connected with it because we want people want to work with people. We don't want to work with this falsified brand, this created brand, this caricature of a person. We want to work with people. People want to work with people. Humans connect with humans. When you are real, and that doesn't mean, I think people think that's oversharing and being super vulnerable and stuff. It's like, just like, I like purple. I have a cat. I live in the Gold Coast. I love to travel. Those are people go, I have a cat. I live on the Gold Coast.
Me.
I run a business. Like, you know, it's, like, it's just, you know, cool. We're connecting. We're understanding. I mean, I've got this beautiful lady, Ali, who's just joined my course yesterday. It was like insane how many levels, and we're going on one. She runs a thing called Mummycations. Mummycations. So for me, for the mummy to go away on the vacation. But she, you know, she has worked with disabilities and people who have, you know, respite. I love helping people in the disability sector. She, travel. I run a travel podcast. Mum. I'm a mum.
Yeah.
Like
tick, tick.
Business owner. We just had all these, it was just I was like, this is crazy, and what happened was, and she even said it, she heard me on a podcast. And I was like, you needed this work. You could have Googled personal branding specialist.
Exactly. Like I said, I typed into Google, what is personal branding? But it's so overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, where do I even start?
But because she heard me speak and it resonated, and, very nicely, she liked me or liked the style of me and my approach, she wanted to work with me. And that's when you show up as yourself, and when you don't hide behind the business, and when you come forward, people are like, oh, she's a person too.
Correct.
I connect with that. I want to work with her because I like her. And yes, she'll do the job. Yes, she's great at virtual assisting. I've had 3 virtual assistants, loved them all.
Yeah.
I love Leah because I love working with her because she's a wonderful person and we get on well, and she gets shit done. I need stuff done.
My logo, getting shit done.
Collectively getting shit done. No.
But it was like, and that was one of the reasons. Yeah, exactly. And that was one of the reasons I loved the idea of working with you in the program, was the fact that, you're always continuously showing your journey in personal branding. You haven't gone, okay, I've got it down pat, I'm 100% clear on who I am, what I want to be, and that's it. Because we're constantly evolving, and this is something that you've brought up before, is that, there's always certain pieces to the puzzle that fall away, and you find new ones, and you kind of piece it together. And I think you being so open about your journey when it comes to who you are and your personal brand made me realize that it's not just a one fix all kind of solution. It's like, well, that's what I wanted. I didn't want just, okay, here's this, and thousands and thousands of other people use it, but hopefully it works for you. I didn't want that. And that's what I didn't get from the program, which was amazing. It was a program that made you do the work, which, some programs don't make you do. I've been there before, but it made it feel so much more customized and personalized to you, because it was giving you value that was actually for you, and not just this stock standard mock-up of going, okay, next, and that's what I really enjoyed, is that it was your journey constantly being put out there, and knowing that the program was going to be that kind of catalyst to kind of get me going on the same journey. So I do appreciate you doing that. I really do.
Oh, thank you. And, like you said, you'll get a lot out of the program, but the thing that you should get, I hope you get, is the tools and the strategies to keep showing up, to keep working on it, to keep staying on the course, going towards your goals, going towards your vision. Because there's, I said, I guarantee there'll be another time where you'll have this imposter syndrome come up. I absolutely guarantee. I'm not going to sit here in my ivory tower and say that it's all figured out, and that you're going to be fixed, because it is about doing the work. And if you are not willing to do the work, it is not for you. I say that clearly on the course page. I say when I work with people, if you are not committed to showing up, if you are not committed to doing the work, if you don't want to make a change, then it's cool, not for you. But if you are, then I'm here to support you, to coach you, and there's a beautiful group of people that you've now connected with who are doing the same and going on that journey together.
No, it's been amazing. I've loved it.
Oh, I adore you. How can we connect with you, Leah? I know some people already know you here, but how can we connect with you?
So the best way to connect with me is on Instagram. So Collectively Assist is probably the best way to do it. You can slide into my DMs there, or you can also email me at leah@collectivelyassist.com.au as well. So there's probably the best 2 ways to get in contact with me.
Yeah, and you better do it quick, because I just keep recommending you to everybody. It's getting really full. And if she doesn't she gets too full for me, I'm going to flip it. I tell you what. She's like, Emma, I've got so much work on. I'll be like, fine. Call your friends, but don't leave me.
I'll never leave you, sweetie.
Thank you for all your support this week. Thank you for being so committed and showing up in the program, showing up today. This is the last live of this series, but not the last live. We will be back next week talking about all the things.
All the things. Love it.
Bye, everyone.
See you later. Bye.